I'll invite our CEO to give remarks.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, Chairman of the Institute, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Is it morning or afternoon? It's afternoon. I'm delighted to see all of us today, and we are privileged to have the Chief Justice close for us this event. Honorable CJ, we've been here since Wednesday. This is a conference for women in leadership and governance, and we have a few honorary sisters who are in our midst, and we have had a good time discussing issues to do with leadership and governance, and especially pertaining to ladies. This is the fourth one. Last year, you actually sent one of your judges based here in Naivasha, and we had good time with her, and we've been doing this for the last 4 years. Part of the discussion that we are having now is also how to formalize the same. We have a caucus or a forum to institutionalize these efforts on women who are in leadership and governance sector. So we will be engaging you further in regard to the same. And also we take recognizance that you are also a member of this institute, and therefore we look forward to partnering with your office, and not only on this forum, but on so many other initiatives to promote good governance in this country. Without further ado, but just before I invite the chair, is to mention also once we finish, we will also be requesting to have a group photo with the Chief Justice, also as evidence that we came for this conference. That is very useful, especially for the Gen Zs who are here. We have, as an institute, we started a program where every year we take 100 young members and students. We call it Governance and Ethics Mentorship and Internship Program, GEMIP. So part of what we do, once we take the 100, we put them into cohorts, into groups of 5, and each group we assign 2 mentors from various sectors for a program of 8 months. So there is the person-to-person mentorship, but we also bring them together as a group of 100, and we have common programs. But also we sponsor them different programs, both by the institute and other institutions, which are relevant to the issues of governance and ethics, because we believe that part of the impact, part of the change on matters governance is also to impact the young people, so that they can know there are people who are successful yet ethical. Ethics and success are not, can be the same line, because I think in this country it has been portrayed as if you cannot put ethics and success together. So that is part of the program we are doing, and we will be also approaching your office for greater partnership on. It happens, it's not a legal requirement that for you to be a member of the institute you have to be a lawyer, but it happens for some reasons that 95% of all registrations we get into the institute, most of them are lawyers. So they are also in the sector which you are in, and therefore we also look forward to partnering the whole legal structure so that we impact that area. Without further ado, I want to invite the chairman of the institute, FCS Joshua Bua, to come and make brief remarks, and thereafter invite the Chief Justice. Karibu, Chairman.
Our chief guest, the Honorable Chief Justice, Mother Koome, our fellow sisters, because we are addressing them as our fellow sisters, but on a serious note, the delegates who have attended this program, good afternoon once more. Yes, Chief Guest, we want to register our appreciation that you are able to find time to come and be with us today and be part of this process when we are winding up our 5th conference on the empowerment of our women members. Just like the CEO has alluded, we have done 4, we normally do it on an annual basis. We have done 4 other conferences in the past 4 years, and this is the 5th one. And the objective is simple, like you said. This is part of our CPD, Continuous Professional Development Programs. And because we have realized that our demographics in the Institute are such that we are almost 50-50. In fact, I think the women are more than the men. And it's this is a very rare institution because majority of the institutions, the men are more. And so I think we should appreciate our women with a clap. Of course, it would have been better if the men are the ones who are clapping. But for today, we appreciate ourselves in that way. Let me just reiterate what the CEO has mentioned, and which you know because you are one of our members, that our business as an institute is to promote good governance. We used to talk about good corporate governance, but now we talk about good governance so that we open it and we are able to cover all the spheres. But I am not moving backwards, but if that is the case, maybe we could consider. I think we should concentrate more on good institutional governance, because the political governance has been giving us some challenges, and then we find a space for it. Because it is sometimes, excuse me with the due respect, contaminating what we call good institutional governance, which we stand for. There are elements which have been identified which drive good governance. Of course, one of them is planning, aspects of transparency, integrity, aspects of public participation, aspects of inclusion, aspects of compliance, and so on and so forth. Those are the main elements. Actually, there are 9 and they are documented. Sometimes when we test it against the wider spectrum, we find that the score is so low. So members, I was saying that we would like to engage with the senior members of the profession so that we find a way of dealing with the political governance, because sometimes it's a bit fluid. And I don't think there is anything wrong, mentioning that, because it is one of the challenges which we are having as a country, and we must find a way of dealing with it. So we are very happy to have you as part of our speakers as we wind up this program. The women members, the members who are women have got unique situations because of our environment, either social, even political, and so on and so forth. And that is why we need this kind of a program targeting the women. And I like what you have just mentioned when we were having a cup of tea, and allow me to mention it, that it is good to share as women and realize that all the women are almost going through the same situation, and therefore the best solution is to soldier on, because we observe there are many things which are said in the environment against individuals, and at times the statements are not kind. Yeah, and so you need to have resilience, like we were taught in the morning, so that you remain focused on your ball. Don't bother about what people say which is negative, and especially when it is not true. And even if it is true anyway, in case it was a mistake, there is always a way of having it corrected without having to be subjected to what I would call excessive negative publicity. And so this is a kind of a team that we are trying to mentor in the Institute, so that the women can realize the environment is so rough, but you must remain there and you must do the right thing. that's why we have had this kind of a program. I wish to once again appreciate you very much. And so, Bwana CEO, at the end of this, I am sure the Honorable Chief Justice will be able to get her CPD. Yes, she must get her CPD because she will have done a lot of work, and you have done us a very big favor by coming to be with us. We most appreciate you, madam. Without much ado, I wish to request you that we welcome her with a very big clap so that she's able to address us and then close this program officially. Able to pick up ile makofi mzuri ya Chief Justice? Asante sana. Karibu sana. Over to you. Thank you.
And the distinguished honorary sisters, special recognition of you because of your courage to support our sisters, our dear sisters, our daughters, the Gen Zs, or do we also have sons who are Gen Zs here? A very good afternoon to you. Yes, afternoon again. Yes, what an honor. Indeed, a very great honor for me to have this opportunity to address this distinguished gathering of women leaders at the close of what I am certain has been a very transformative for the Women in Leadership and Governance Conference. I believe when you leave here, you will not be the same again. You will have clarified your vision, and you will go out there to make it a reality. And you'll have known how to deal with all the obstacles that come on the way to obstruct you, to distract you, to confuse you, and to make you even think less about yourself. From here, you'll be so empowered. You will just be seeing the success of your vision that you're going to implement. Thank you very much for inviting me. I was far away yesterday. I was in Marsabit, where we were launching the alternative justice system and the court-annexed mediation. And I got home very tired last night, and I was wondering whether I will make it. And I reached out to my phone several times to ask, can I do this crossing virtually? But I think the Holy Spirit led me to say, no, let me just try and come. So today I may not be in my best form, but I'm so happy to associate with you, and I'm so sorry that last year I was not able to come, and that is actually what drove me to saying this time round, I am not going to miss this wonderful conference, to be together with the wonderful, distinguished women who are shaking and shaping industry out there. So I'm sure the discussions that you have had in the last 3 days have been a corrective energizer of how women can drive societal transformation through leadership, collaboration, and innovation. I'm sorry I missed those presentations, especially from women I admire very much, like Madam Rita Kavesa. I've never imagined how a woman can lead a huge corporation that deals with motor vehicles I have never for my life even known how to change a tire. Leave alone the engine oil. So the women in that industry, I really admire you, and it is good you are able to share your experiences with our sisters. So as we reflect on the invariable contributions shared here, it is important to acknowledge that the journey of Kenyan women has been a journey of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering determination to create a more equitable society. Firstly, you know this is a very patriarchal society. Therefore, nothing is rained out for a woman to succeed, especially in leadership. It is always expected that the leadership is a position for the men. As I stand here as the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, I can assure you, if I went for a political seat of the MCA in my home, I cannot get it. Because that is reserved for men. Am I right? So when you manage to emerge as a leader elsewhere, where there are no elections, where it is pure merit, handwork, skills, and talent, they actually wonder, and where has she come from? Where has she come from? But when you are working hard, struggling in the trenches to ensure that we have law reforms, we have independence of institutions, we have principles of equality, good governance, and everything included in the Constitution, so that the society can thrive. When you are advocating, and when you are robbing, and when you are putting on your life on the line, that time they welcomed you because it was heavy lifting. But come the day of sitting in the table to partake in the leadership that you have struggled for, they ask, and where have you come from? They suddenly forget. Actually, for me, they forget completely. You think, niliangukia. Yani, I was not practicing for so many years. I was not a judge in the High Court, traversing the whole of this country. I was not a judge in the Court of Appeal. I did not work in the African Union. I did not work at the East Africa Community. I did not sit in all those meetings here and internationally to agitate the case for fairness, the rule of law, democracy. But suddenly, she has become the CJ. Where has she come from? So this is the story of all of us, isn't it? Yes, so what we need to say is, I am entitled because I am qualified, because I went to school, I applied for the job, I got it, I am in this company as of right. I am a Kenyan, first of all. In fact, what I've run to tell them now is that I am a Kenyan like you. So why should I move for you? Yeah, because they have this tendency of wanting you to move. I'm like, move for who? Can you yourself move? Before I move, can you move? Yeah, so this sense of entitlement, I think it's important for us as women to know we are where we are as of right. There was no mistake. All right? So I'll briefly look at the history of our socio-economic and political evolution, which is intricately tied to the history of women's contributions to transformative change. And as you know, for decades, women have stood at the forefront of pivotal moments in our nation's history. I don't know whether this story is properly told, that women have always been there from the struggle of independence to the struggle of the second liberation to where we are women have been in the forefront. Women advocated for multi-party democracy, from the struggle for constitutional reform to the relentless pursuit of socio-economic transformation of our nation. Kenyan women have been indispensable agents of change. And during the struggle for independence, women played crucial roles as freedom fighters. They were there developing strategies of how to sustain the people who are in the forest struggling. They were there trying to mobilize the communities. But suddenly, because the political arena is filled with men, we forget that women were ever there. So in the decades that followed, women continued to champion critical issues such as eradication of harmful practices like the FGM, child marriages, equitable distribution of matrimonial property, and the rights of women to inheritance, education, and quality health care. For instance, when I started practice, there were no laws to govern the rights of women in marriage. If you disagreed with your husband, and this being a patriarchal society, the property was in the name of the man. They used to come to my office crying that I've been thrown out with nothing after 25 years of marriage. The house where we live is in the name of the man. The shamba or whatever plot is in the name of the man. The car is in the name of the man. And I would ask, did you contribute? Yes, I did. I took a cooperative loan. I gave my husband. I did this. I gave my husband. I'm like, didn't you have a name? What's wrong with your name? Then, of course, you catch yourself and realize that, the woman does this so that there is peace and harmony at home so that she can be trusted to build trust. The woman is very trusting. And since she came to this home, she got married, she identified 100%. For instance, where I come from, they say when you get married, there's a guarantee of 30 years. So now how do you keep that guarantee going? It's through trust, by doing everything you can to show that you have nowhere else to go. So that even if you have money, give it to your husband to buy the house is your house, buy the car is your house, buy the plot, until the day they decide you no longer matter. And that's how actually I was introduced to advocacy, lobbying, and what you would call activism, which I have no apology about being described as an activist, because I was lobbying and advocating for the rights of women, and I think it is the right thing, it was the right thing for me to do. So we started now lobbying for all reforms. We had to stop using 1882 Married Women's Property Act of England. Now we have the Matrimonial Properties Act. But today, the Gen Zs may never remember, they don't know anyway, they were not born, it's not your mistake. You don't know where we came from. We came from far, because I saw with my own eyes women, distinguished women, who had worked their fingers to the bone to support their families, being kicked out of their matrimonial homes in Lavington, in Lemuru, everywhere. And I wondered, no, where are we going? And that's why I took this path of advocacy. And I can assure you that it has borne remarkable fruits. We have the landmark registration, like the Sexual Offences Act, to protect our women, our girls, and even boys and men from sexual violence, from, all manner of gender-based violence, including what we call in the offices, what do we call it? Sexual harassment. That is most insidious, and it really affects us as women. You know, when you have come to work, you have not come to work to be sexually harassed, but somebody is always on your case about a date. So we are protected. There is also the Marriage Act, the Matrimonial Property Act, which all stand as a testament to the power of women's corrective action. Indeed, women were at the forefront also for advocating, lobbying, and agitating for constitutional reforms that led to the enactment of our transformative Constitution 2010. This was largely the work of women, by the way. Women were always in those lobby meetings, they were in the strategy meetings, they were in the drafting committees. In fact, I was at the Bomas of Kenya, chairing the subcommittee on human rights when I was called to become a judge of the High Court. So we were actively involved. Women leaders and activists were also instrumental in shaping our democratic journey. From the fight for multi-party government in the 90s to the push for new constitutional dispensation, women like Honorable Phoebe Asio, Martha Karua, Charity Ngiru, Beth Mugo, amongst many others, were in the trenches, side by side with other male pro-reform activists, exemplifying the courage by women and the leadership by women. This is history we should never, never forget. The influence of women leaders extends beyond politics and governance. Women like Professor Wangari Maathai, the first Kenyan Nobel laureate, revolutionized environmental conservation. Leaders like Dr. Jennifer Reria and Dr. Mary Okero in the financial sector, and Professors Rea Marango, Olive Mugenda, Nora Orembo, amongst many others in the education sector. They have set the bar of high excellence and innovation by women in the education sector. These trailblazers have reshaped Kenya's social fabric, inspiring future generations to dream bigger and aim higher. Today, younger women stand on the shoulders of these giants. I always also consider myself one of them, standing on the shoulders of these giants, reaping the benefits of their sacrifices and courage. Fellow women leaders, the post-2010 constitutional era has elevated women to unprecedented heights in leadership. In the justice sector, we have been witness to history being made with women holding pivotal positions. And these are the women who helped us dream and think that it was possible. I'll mention the Deputy Chief Justice, Nancy Barasa, Kaupana Rawa, Judges of Appeal, Efe Owo, Joyce Arwoch. We have had Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, a woman. We have had the Attorney General, an inspiring and incomparable achievement that Kenya has achieved globally. Today, Kenya is being celebrated for having the judiciary that is led by women. The other day when we were swearing in the Deputy President, the stage was dominated by women. And you could see the judiciary is led by women. And I told them, stop there. Who leads the executive? It is men. Who leads the legislature? It is men. So allow women, for once, to lead the judiciary, and we see where they can take it. So the entire legal profession is run by women, and we have no apologies for that. The president of the Law Society is the Attorney General is the Chief Registrar is the Deputy Chief Justice is and the Chief Justice is So this is because we have worked hand and handed. We were there at the right time, because in the legal profession, you find we have more women than men. Am I right? And when you come to an institution like the judiciary, many men shun being magistrates, especially joining at that low level. They go into private practice, they go into tech companies, they want to come as judges. But the women have sat there patiently and listened through the ranks. And now when it comes to senior positions, the cream has come on top, isn't it? Are you going to look for it elsewhere? It is within, and therefore we are there as of right. We also recognize in the county governments, 7 women serve as governors. And key independent offices, including the controller of budget and auditor general, are led by women. In fact, the other day, we were in a meeting with the development partners, and they said it seems like all the difficult jobs in Kenya are held by women. But we don't mind it. It's a job. They said, look, the EGH is a difficult job. They said the controller of budget is a difficult job. The auditor general is a difficult job. And the CJ's job is even more difficult. Why are they giving women the most difficult jobs? But we don't mind. We will do it. We will figure it out. We are figuring it out. In the judiciary, I can assure you, we are figuring it out. Are you aware in the judiciary now, you can file your documents from anywhere? E-filing. You can also do your case virtually. You don't have to travel to court, isn't it? Isn't that a game changer? Somebody told me it's like the expressway. Yes, and we are trying to address all the needs of Kenyans. We are trying to explore the multi-door approach to justice, because we believe justice is not only found in the formal corridors of justice. Justice is found in the families, in the communities, in our places of work, by encouraging mediation, negotiations, even private agreements. You can enter into them and bring them to court, and we will adopt them as the order of the court. It's that innovation. And then we are building and empowering communities to take charge and agency of their rights and come up with the systems and structures within communities to solve disputes within the communities. So we are figuring it out. It is difficult, but with the assistance of all of you, the great support we get from all the supporters, we are going to manage it. Also at the grassroots level, women are redefining governance by fostering inclusivity, transparency, and participation. They address local challenges with innovative solutions, from improving access to clean water and health care to initiating community economic empowerment programs. Women are amazing. And when people ask me, who was your mentor, or who is your mentor? Of course, I have many mentors, even young people. The Gen Zs also mentor me. There are so many ways you learn from the intergeneration. But my mother was my greatest mentor. A woman with no education, with no source of income, just working, tilling land. She was able to feed 9 children, and she was able to take us to school and take care of our everything, from our health needs to social needs to spiritual needs. And now I look back, I'm like, my mother could even have been the Minister for Health, because none of us died, and she knew how to provide for us and even ensure that we had balanced diet. So this is the women leadership style, which is a blend of empathy, pragmatism, and inclusivity. It ensures that governance is people-centered and that no one is left behind. That's what we are doing in the judiciary, making sure that we have a product for everybody to be able to access justice within their reach. It is also about bringing perspectives and experiences unique to women to transform leadership and policy choices. I hear when Chairman Wambua says that corporate governance is being confused by political governance. It's not only corporate governance, but even us in the justice sector feel the confusion, because we plan our work. We plan to deal with our backlog, but suddenly there is a huge wave of political instability that shakes the country. And the dispute now moves and quickly comes to court. And suddenly now we are all engulfed with trying to find a solution for this political problem. Can political problems be resolved politically by the politicians? They stop now disturbing the corporate governance and also disturbing the courts. So, but this is our society. We have to stand up with everybody. We have to support everybody. When they come to court, even with these political disputes, we tell them, look, we are not politicians, we are lawyers, we are judges. We will only look at the Constitution and look at the statute and look at the evidence and match your problem to the law and the Constitution. We will find a legal solution for you. But the legal solution may not be the one to solve the political dispute. And if you can look back, you can see from 2008, when we had the worst form of social instability, political instability, post-election violence, the courts did not find a solution. It was the politicians, after fighting, after making people fight, they sat at a table and they found a solution called nusu mkate, isn't it? And it worked for them. We went on, 2017, there was another post-election violence. We fought, people died, property destroyed, instability, economic instability, opportunities lost. But then after fighting so much, we also sat at the table and found a solution called handshake. And then recently, we went through the same. Then we found broad-based, isn't it? Those are political solutions, nothing to do with us, but they bring us that instability. Yet we have a very good constitution that provides for mediation, negotiations, alternative dispute resolution, alternative justice system. Then you wonder, why can't you sit at the table and look for a solution first before you bring us fighting and maandamano and everything? But I don't know why we do that the wrong way. But I hope with this corporate governance, with these governance trainings that we are doing as the Institute, we will be able to reach out even to the political class for them to embrace negotiations first, so that we do not disturb people. Enough about politics. We have to talk about gender justice, because I think as women, we are very, very concerned about the trend today, where we have so many victims of femicide, young women being killed for reasons nobody can explain. We also have very many victims of sexual and gender-based violence. And this is a reality that we have to appreciate and look for solutions on how to counter violence, so that the space within which we are occupying at our place of work, the space that we are occupying at our family, there is no violence. We in the judiciary have tried to roll out courts that are specifically to deal with this gender justice. We are calling them gender justice courts. We mapped the country, and so the red districts or the red counties, and we are trying to deal with this problem, tackle this problem by establishing specialized courts where these cases can be tracked. But even as we open these courts as judiciary, we rely on so many other actors, because we don't arrest, it is the police who will arrest. We don't investigate, it is the police who will investigate. So, but we keep saying we should never give up wherever we are. Beyond institutional initiatives to deal with gender justice, many of you who are seated in this room, you are driving systemic change by championing within your places of work policies and practices that address deep-seated inequalities. In your different spheres of influence, you as women in leadership positions, I know you are championing reforms that dismantle structural barriers and promote equity, whether it's through legislation, judicial decisions, or policy decisions within your places of work, or even the decisions that you make in sectors that you lead, or even through community engagement. So this commitment to transformational leadership has ensured that women are not only participants in governance, but also architects of a more just and inclusive society. So as we celebrate the milestones that women of this country have realized over the years, we must remain vigilant about the barriers that persist. Patriarchal norms, limited access to resources, and deeply entrenched gender biases continue to hinder many capable women from realizing their full potential. The political and corporate landscapes remain among the most challenging arenas for women leaders. Yet women have demonstrated resilience, breaking glass ceilings and transforming these spaces into more equitable environments. We must dismantle systemic barriers by promoting diversity and inclusion. Mentorship programs such as this, leadership training such as this, and deliberate for policies to ensure that the workplace is accommodating and supportive of women to thrive and realize their potential. And those are essential steps. I'm told you also had a wonderful presentation about happiness. That one I will ask that it be repeated. Because we aim to succeed, we aim to achieve, but then we lose happiness. And I think we should be happy in whatever that we do. In the judiciary, to use an example from the experience in leadership, we have now put in place gender mainstreaming policy in place. We have a diversity policy, and we also have a sexual harassment policy. In addition, early this year, we operationalized an employee protection unit within my office to investigate and handle complaints relating to sexual harassment and other complaints from employees in a victim-centered manner. This is also to ensure that the judiciary's employees work in a supportive, conducive environment so that they can be able to progress their careers. However, true change, fellow women leaders, requires a cultural shift. I was telling colleagues at the tea room there, due to our patriarchal system where we grew up, we must challenge the society norms that devalue women's contribution and redefine leadership as a service grounded in empathy, collaboration, and integrity. As women leaders who have benefited from sacrifices of our predecessors, we have a responsibility to mentor the next generation. I did around the mentorship by the Institute, because mentorship is not just about passing the baton, it is about equipping young leaders with the tools, networks, and confidence to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Intergenerational mentorship must become a cornerstone of women's leadership by creating robust opportunities and platforms for mentorship and also sponsorship. We can bridge the gap between the potential and achievement, ensuring that the next generation of leaders is well prepared to tackle all the emerging challenges. Let us recognize the unique challenges faced by younger women leaders, particularly in the digital era, characterized by unprecedented complexity and rapid change. For example, young women leaders are emerging at the time when we are grappling with challenges like cyberbullying, fake news, and misinformation, amongst many other social media related challenges. Active mentorship is essential to guide and support our young women as they navigate these complexities. I urge each one of us to take the conversations we have had during this conference forward. Let us commit to creating environments that empower women leaders at all levels, whether in governance, whether in business, or in community development. Let us champion policies that amplify our women's voices in decision-making and build systems that are inclusive and just. Above all, let us remain steadfast in our belief that women's leadership is not only transformative, but indispensable for building a sustainable tomorrow. To conclude, as we reflect on the outcomes of this great conference, let us remember that every step forward is a collective victory. To have one more woman rise to the pinnacle is a collective victory for us. The journey towards equity and sustainability is a shared endeavor, and each of us has a part to play. May the insights gained here inspire us to champion change, nurture leadership, and contribute to a society where women's contributions are celebrated and valued. I thank you all for your attention, and God bless you, guide you, and shine his light upon you as you aspire to achieve the highest, which I believe you will. Thank you very much.